the rain or shine Elasto Painters are ready to go all out in the Governors Cup. The team is keeping its lineup intact ahead of the upcoming conference. In this interview, head coach Chris Gavina talks about their preparations as well as the team's foreign reinforcement in the Governors Cup, veteran import Henry Walker.
Yeah, he had his first practice yesterday.
How was it?
Finally, coming out of quarantine.
Yeah.
We're trying to ease him back in. Of course, coming out of 3 days of quarantine, he's got to get his legs and rhythm in. But he looks fit to go once he gets his conditioning in.
Yeah.
Our locals are feel more than ready. So mentally, we're locked in. I think it'll just come down to chemistry and game timing.
How do you see Henry fitting in with the guys that you already have? Because you have guys that have performed really well the past conferences. Of course, Reynam Batak, then the young guns that you have JV. Of course, you still have the old reliables. And I mean old in a good sense, in BELGA, Gabe Norwood. You still got James Yap. You got some fantastic young players, Santi Santillan. How will Henry Walker fit in well with those guys?
Even before he came here in our conversations, I told him about the culture we set here. And him having played at the Miami Heat, I think their culture coincides with what we are, our identity of being blue collar. And he likes that. He has an outwork mentality just like we do. And he's competitive. He has that fire to really accomplish something that he hasn't done here. And something that we're trying to strive for, which is win the Governors Cup championship.
Well, I did mention James, but we all know he's running. We'll get to James a little bit more later on. But you're coming off a quarterfinal finish, Coach Chris, in the Philippine Cup. It was a really promising campaign for your team, especially considering how young your players. A lot of your players are really, really young, but still you manage to beat teams, the big guns like the San Miguel Beermen, the Meralco Bolts during the elimination round. All things considered, Coach Chris, what were the positives from that campaign that you hope to carry over to the Governors Cup, and what did you look to adjust during this offseason? And you're still adjusting.
I think definitely we're rated #1 defense in points allowed and field goal percentage allowed. So that's something that we can definitely build off from. Offensively, I think we put high emphasis on our development program. Guys like Coach Jaire Banez, Coach Mike Buendia, now Coach Rich, Coach Ruben, former SEAL of our 3x3 team. They do such a tremendous job in our development of our young guys. And it turns these young guys into more versatile players. And our confidence is born through our sweat equity. And that's something that we always, really put a staple on in our organization, and it translates into success for us on the court.
Well, it has been quite the roller coaster offseason in the PBA, Coach, with a series of shocking trades left and right. I'm sure you know that by now. But Rain or Shine is one of those teams, actually, that stayed pretty much intact, and rightfully so, because like what I said, you have a great group of young guys. In fact, you even extended the contracts of some of your key players. Coach, can you tell us why sticking to the main rotation that you have now and not opting to, get players in the offseason like some of the other, playoff teams as well?
We're a true believer in continuity and loyalty.
Okay.
And it's hard when there's an influx of new players coming in all the time. There's always a cycle of teaching instead of improving or just fine tuning. The fact that we're able to keep this core together, they infuse trust and through the battles that we were in last conference. And that you can't really, you can't expedite that. That's something that just happens organically.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to our guys really stepping up, especially our young guys.
That's I admire that. Like really putting that trust in the players that you have. That gives them more confidence? Like, okay, the team, the management they're not getting other players. They believe in us, in what we have. Let's continue to do this, keep on going. Of course, with many teams changing players, chemistry could become an issue for them. Do you see that now? Banking on what you just said, do you see that as an advantage that you have for rain or shine, that you've kept your core intact, and like what you said, that continuity that you have may be your edge against these teams that got other players and new players on their squad?
Yes, definitely. With the import conference, they dominate, minutes at their position as well as the ball. Yeah. So our guys' ability to really, be stars at their roles will help us along. We don't really have super high egos on our team. We have competitive egos on our team, which is great. Guys like BEAU, guys like Gabe, who've been through championship experiences. And we have a bunch of young guys that come from championship culture from college. So, and starting to really inflect in our environment, and that's what we promote. We want our guys to be leaders. We don't want guys playing with fear. We just play with pure confidence because they trust the work they put in, and guys bought in, and we're all happy about that.
In part 2 of my interview with Coach Chris Gavina, he talks about some of the key players whom Rain or Shine has decided to keep for the next few years. But welcome back to Sports Ask Only here on CNN Philippines. Rain or Shine decided not to take part in the series of crazy off-season trades in the PBA. Instead, the Elasto Painters extended the contracts of some of their key players ahead of the Governors Cup. Now, in part 2 of my interview, head coach Chris Gavina explains Rain or Shine's recent moves, starting with the Stingray, Ray Nambata.
I think you're going to see an emerging star in Ray. After he signed that 3-year deal, I had a talk with him saying, you are now recognized as one of the max guys on this team, and with that comes the level of responsibility of performing on a day-to-day basis, leading by example at practice, making sure that guys abide by the standards, high standards that I'm trying to set, as well as our coaching staff and organization. So, and he's looked really well in practice, and I think he's ready to take on that new role that he's going to have for this team.
Oh yeah, I love that kid. The kid is always hungry, the Stingray, and just he's just a humble kid as well. Well, the team also signed Norbert Torres, Anton Asistio, and BELGA to 2-year extensions. What made you keep them in your core, coach? What do you see in those players, in Norbert, Anton, and BEAU?
I'll start off with Anton. Anton's, we were the only one that worked him out pre-draft.
Wow.
And I was so impressed with the way he approached the workout for us. He went hard on every single drill. And little things like that really go a long way. It just goes to show the character that he possesses. And he's become a really good leader. He's highly coachable, and he always wants to improve. So those are assets that we wanted to secure for long term. Norbert has really, I think, put in a lot of time and effort into his physical self. Yeah, I've been trying to challenge him mentally of breaking through his wall of don't settle for good. I want him to be great, and he's putting in the work every single day now. And we all know BEAU's been here, I think, going into his 11th year. And he's just as hungry to really get another championship under his belt before, we want to say his latter years come to fruition. And with Henry Walker coming in, I think everybody's really upbeat of what we can really accomplish this summer.
Yeah, well, Big Bo is a perfect guy to have on your team to keep these young guys in check, and he's a great teammate as well. And I mentioned earlier, let's talk about James Yap, Coach. And big game James, you're losing him from your lineup because he's preparing for the campaign season. Of course, Yap is, of course, running for councilor in San Juan City. How big of a loss will James Yap be for this team in this upcoming conference, Coach?
Really big. You know, you can't really replace James, what James brings, statistically as well as off and on the court in regards to leadership. It's got to be a collective effort from all of our young guys now, but he was such a great mentor for guys like Moko and guys like Ray Nambata, obviously, and our young Anton, where he's guiding these guys. It's not too much. He's not really too vocal on the court with them, but you know, he leads by example all the time, and that's something that when these guys get to witness it firsthand, that it definitely influences the way they carry themselves as they move forward with their career.
Oh yeah, and the work ethic. That's why he's still, you know, the way he takes care of his body. He's a great example to the young kids. But of course, he's running. Coach, before we let you go, I know you have to head on over to practice in a bit. The SISTA Super Sealers, which is Rain or Shine's 3x3 team, just won the third leg of the PBA 3x3 tournament. Congratulations, by the way, to your boys. Your thoughts on their win, Coach Chris, and any chance you'll be tapping any of those players for your 5-on-5 team when the 3x3 is over?
Man, we're extremely proud of the accomplishment these guys did in the past two legs and then winning this third leg. You know, these guys come in 6 a.m. every day. They put in their work. And we really, after the first leg of not winning any games, we really stressed a high amount of sense of urgency, and they responded. Their coach, Coach Jaben Formasil, has done a tremendous job, and we've just been kind of helping him, guide him through some drills and tactics that'll help assist these guys in the success, and you know, the formula is working for us.
Oh yeah, you mentioned it, not winning a single game in the first leg, and then winning it all here in the third leg, and you know, I'm just really happy also to see the development of the guys like Kenneth Mocon, Prince Rivero, and your boys. Coach, keep doing what you're doing. Keep on having that positive attitude. Again, I love the way you approach the game. Thank you for being on the show, for talking to us. The best of luck. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you again. Thank you, Coach Chris.
I appreciate you. I just want to say happy birthday, Bo.
Oh, Bo Belga's birthday?
Yeah.
Oh, tell him I said happy birthday. Happy birthday to Big Bo Belga. Thank you, Coach.
All right.
Thank you.
Guys.
Stay safe.
Thanks
Thank you,
for having
Coach.
me.